No, okay.
So I've seen something there, but I can't say.
Sorry for that. Next time I think we'll do better. So please.
I can hear you.
Good. So yeah, please start. Actually, he has a good fair knowledge about what the content of the work is. So please go on.
Thank you. Background study: no society in the world is without conflict. It means that conflict occurs wherever human beings are found. Conflict and misunderstandings leads to chaos, anarchy, hatred, unimaginable and uncontrollable situations among individuals, families, clans, lineages, and the communities that we find ourselves in. Tona and Amanzoya indicated that conflict is an inevitable situation that happens among human interactions. They said that whenever conflict happens, they find a way of addressing those conflicts so that conflict does not escalate to another level. And in fact, the Manila Declaration of December 2000 was occasion for indigenous people for them to express their right, their identities, and then for them to talk about what it means to keep peace at all times. And so peace building was underscored by the world, that even with the indigenous, they have a way of approaching resolution of conflict and reconciliation. Agbodeka stated that since the establishment of Anglon, from the closing years of the 17th century to the beginning of the 18th century, the Anglon society was so much engulfed in conflict and basically chieftaincy and land dispute. And so properties were lost, lives were lost. And so Kojo Bwegwadu indicated there is a need, whenever there is conflict, there must be a need for resolution. And so the elders of the community thought it wise to engage in negotiations, settlement, and then peaceful resolution. And so through these, they instituted the right of Nubidodo to be able to bring about peace. This was done with the help of the forebears of the Anglo traditional area. So basically, Nubidodo is a traditional rite that is performed in the course of the year at any point in time by the Anglos to bring about sanity, peace, justice, reconciliation among the members of the Anglo community. What is my research problem? What is the problem? Now, due to confrontations with several conflicts in the past, which led to loss of lives and properties, there has been a controversy over whether Nubidodo had really served or is actually serving its intended purpose in the face of strong inroads of Western culture, Christianity and Muslim, and especially Christianity. Whether Nubidodo, which used to be participated by all, with these strong inroads, what is happening? That is the problem we are looking at. So previous studies have been done on Anglon, but the focus has not been on the efficacy of the Nubidodo rite. The Professor Gaba, an astute writer who wrote on Nubidodo rite, indicated that the rites and rituals which are performed in Anglon are a means of unifying the Anglon people. They are a means of sanitizing the whole of the Anglon traditional area. They are a means of allowing people to reconcile with one another so that peace will prevail at all times. Hiagbe Kwame also summarizes Nubidodo rite as salvation of humans' reconciliation with God, a basis for healing and deliverance. Not only healing and deliverance, but to enhance their socio-economic advancement of the individual and also for the entire community of the Anglo people. Because he believes that when the spiritual life of the person is healed, if you are delivered from every kind of sickness and anything, your spiritual empowerment must also encourage you to live a good life. And so these two scholars have emphasized the role that religion plays in the life of the affairs of humans. The current study is therefore intended to examine the state of the efficacy of the individual right, which serves as an indigenous conflict resolution strategy and mechanism, providing the platform that harmonizes all sectors of the Anglo community. It brings people who are at loggerhead with one another, communities, families, couples who are disagreeing together. So that is a platform for making peace and also to enhance development in the life of individuals and the life of the community. What is my research objectives? The objectives are to find out the process and methods that are involved in individual rights as a form of conflict resolution mechanism in the indigenous Anglo society. To find out. Secondly, to find out the relevance or efficacy of individual rights as a conflict resolution mechanism and reconciliation in today's pluralistic society of Anglo. Thirdly, to identify if there are some challenges in the use of individual rights in contemporary Anglo society. And fourthly, to examine the possibility of blending individual rights with contemporary conflict resolution mechanisms and strategies. The question that we need to ask is, what are the processes or methods used to arrive at conflict resolution and reconciliation among the indigenous Anglo? What benefit can be derived from the use of individual rights as a means of resolving conflict and reconciling the people in Anglo community? Are there some challenges in the use of the individual right today? Is it possible to blend individual right with contemporary means of conflict resolution in the Anglo society today? Methodology. The research design is qualitative study. A multidisciplinary approach, including historical, narrative, and phenomenological methods, were employed to guide the collection of data. The collection of data using the primary data sources, participant observation, structured and unstructured interviews, and unpublished works were used in arriving in the collection of my work. Secondary data sources included published works, scholarly journals in electronic databases, and other reliable internet sources. Pike's emic and ethic viewpoint for the examination and discussion of the fieldwork were applied when handling this work. And the purposive sampling technique was used to select respondents, and 4 towns that I selected at Anglogan, Jelukope, Agaveji, Sodito, Biko. Use purposive sampling to sample all these areas because of the stores of the Anglo ritual that are found in these areas in Anglo area. A total of 44 interviews were done, were conducted, 29 on one-on-one basis, 2 to 5 people in a focus group discussion, 10 in all. The category of respondents and the pieces of information elicited through unstructured and structured interviews schedule are presented below. I have categories of respondents and what informations are necessary to be gotten from them. And so the first category were the traditional rulers, chiefs, queen, mothers, priests, and priestesses. And what information that they gave were on historical relevance of Nubidodo in Anglong, conflict resolution, reconciliation among the individuals, the clans, the families, and the community. The second category are the Christian priests, mainly the Catholic Church, the mainline churches, Pentecostal charismatics churches, and a Alafia group of believers who live around the area. And then they gave information on the relevance and efficacy of the rite during this time of strong inroad of Western culture, especially with Christianity and the Muslim community. The fishermen, fishmongers, traders were the third category of people who also look at the relevance, the efficacy of the Nubidodo rite among the uneducated and educated people in the area. Come to research findings. The Anglo traditional people hold allegiance to the performance of Nubidodo rite as a mechanism of conflict resolution and reconciliation, as bequeathed to them by their forebears. The forebears instituted the Nubidodo rite as a means of reconciling the people whenever conflict comes out. And so the people hold allegiance to this fact. There is also the quest for identity underlying the performance of the rite. This ritual, those days when I was growing up, both Christian and non-Christians participate. And so this time, with the strong inroads of Western Christianity and all others, there is a little deviation. People are no more interested, so participation is becoming low. However, people want to be identified with their custom, with their tradition, and so they still hold on to that. Third one is the decline in participation of Nubidodo rite, as I've said earlier, due to the influence of the Western education and missions. Migration, urbanization, mixed culture, modernity, and technology. We all will agree that people have traveled far, have gone all over the world, and as they go and come, their perceptions about tradition changes. They begin to do things differently, and you don't understand what's happening. And then, these have changed the paradigm of many people in Anglong. Urbanization, people have moved from the village to the city, to the capital. And once they come to the capital, their way of living, what they eat, what they wear, all influence their thought pattern in whatever they do. There are mixed cultures, their cans. When you travel from home to Accra, different cultures blend in the cities. And so when you come, you also want to pick something from somebody. So in event, your tradition, your perception changes about everything that you do in life. And so modernity and technology, as we are seeing today, somebody is a professor, is at Legon, and today she's witnessing what is happening here this morning. A way of technology. It has affected everything that we do. Also, our tradition are being influenced by all this. Modernization of Nubidodo rite must see a facelift. We are in an era of technology, and the young ones will want things done technologically. Tweeting, Facebooking, Instagram, to make the rite more relevant and attractive to its customers. The traditional customs and tradition have customers. People who engage in them who want things done a very fast way. So that when you are in the US, when you are in the UK, as you put things are put on Facebook, it becomes relevant to you. If you want to engage and be a part of it, you can also do same. And so the blending of Nubidodo rite with contemporary mechanism and strategy is a necessary tool for conflict resolution and reconciliation. It's a tool for conflict resolution and reconciliation. findings, continuous innovation and creativity in learning from other religious sources is necessary for sustenance and continuity. If you want individual right to continue perpetually, it means that the practitioners and functionaries must be innovative, they must be creative, they must learn from, mimic from other religious societies, and then use those, blend them to be able to be relevant for our contemporary work. And also one of the findings is that we have found male as dominating practitioners in the traditional homes all over. And one of the findings that I got is that female candidature as practitioners and functionaries of individual rights must be encouraged and appreciated for gender parity. You always see men, when you go to the traditional home, it's all men, everything men, everything men. Now we can see competencies and reliability in women as well. So recently, as we see in our Ghanaian political palace, we saw the Prof. Nana Jane entering the system. Yes, giving opportunity for women to bring out what God has given them, to come out with their skills. In conclusion, in spite of technological advancement and strong influence of Western culture, the people of Anglong, they have maintained their allegiance to the individual right as a mechanism for conflict resolution and reconciliation at all levels in the Anglo community, among chiefs, among clans, families. It is true that this right helps to bring about peace among the people. What are my recommendations? That policy makers dialogue, plan, facilitate action with experts on traditional conflict resolution and reconciliation. We know that the people, our traditionalists, they are experts in this area. They are experts in this area. So policymakers of our nation, wherever, must engage them, negotiate with them, dialogue with them, plan with them, so that they can come out with good proposals for conflict resolution all over Ghana and the world. There is also the need to develop negotiation between local indigenous people and the institution of conflict resolution and reconciliation for policy reconstruction. We know there are NGOs who are into conflict resolutions. There are NGOs who always want to manage a conflict. And so if they engage our traditionally who are experts in this area, I think bringing that and this one, the Western type and the local type, we can have a headway somewhere. And also, we need to inculcate traditional indigenous knowledge of conflict resolution and reconciliation into the school curriculum from basic to tertiary levels of education. I think that if we are able to do that very well, the conflict we see all over Ghana, wherever, in our communities, all over the world, if people are taught, they become knowledgeable of the need to have sanity, to harmonize, and blending these things, they are being taught, they will live with it, and the world will be a peaceful place for all of us to stay. Thank you.